All right, y'all. So what just happened? I do not know, but my mic decided we've been talking for 30 minutes.
Oh, who y'all got? Who y'all got tonight? Huh? Cavs.
I don't watch.
Cavs.
I don't watch
I think
basketball.
they're coming back and winning it all.
They got
I
it
think.
incentive.
I think
I hope they do so that.
Okay, alright, let's go through this. Okay, so you guys both like watch basketball.
when the finals are on. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are both interested in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not watch sports, so I do not understand this, and it's just not gonna make sense to me. So this is something we can talk about because we just spent so much time talking about good stuff, and my mic wasn't recording. But anyway, so who's playing tonight?
The Golden State
Mhm.
Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the Warriors are it's out of a 7-game series.
Mm-hmm.
The Warriors have won 3.
They
And
won
they
the first 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
All they needed was one more game.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like last year, the Cavs, it was 3-1. The series was 3-1, and they came back and won it.
But it
And
was
then
like
this year, it was 3-0, and we're hoping they come back and win it.
yeah.
Okay.
Which would mean they win 4 games in a row. They won their 4
Wait,
games
so
in a
it's
row.
the finals right now?
Yeah.
Not the game, like not the last.
This is
one.
like
This is the last
this is the yeah.
Oh,
this
it's
is
the
the
last one?
championship. This is
Yeah.
for the championship.
Top team in the West, top team in the East.
So then, how the Cavs come back from a 3-0? Like, what does that mean?
Because it's at a 7-game series. They play
Uh-huh.
7 games. And
Yeah.
whoever wins 4,
Yeah.
you win 4, you're good.
Okay, so they need to win 4 games.
Yeah, in a row to win now. Literally it's never been done before.
But this
So,
is
like-
this is the last game.
No,
It's the
they're
last game. They still have. If they lose tonight, it's the last game.
it's
and then the Cavaliers are all-time winners for the season.
yeah.
What
No.
do you mean?
Okay, so tonight there is a game going down.
Okay.
Correct.
It's
Yeah.
3-1.
Yeah.
The series is 3-1. The
Game
Warriors
5.
are up. They've won
Yeah.
3 games. The
Yes.
Cavs have won 1.
Yeah. This is game. So this is like finals.
So if so
This
it
is-
could
series is called the final.
it
Okay,
could potentially be the final game. So if the Warriors win tonight, who are up 3-1,
Yeah.
the series is over. The Cavs are the Warriors are NBA champs, right?
Uh-huh.
But if the Cavs win,
They
if
can
the
push it
series-
all the way to a game 7.
yeah,
It can win any night. It's literally the Cavs literally. Have
Oh, so it
whatever
depends
they
on
have.
who
They're-
gets 4 first.
they're
Yeah,
controlling
it's
their own
just who gets
destiny.
four.
Yeah.
So the Cavs. So say Cavs win tonight and they go they win another 3 games and they win.
They're
Yeah.
gonna
But
win.
say the Warriors, or say the Cavs win tonight, then the Warriors lose the next game, then the Warriors are good and done for whatever.
If they win the next
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All they need is one more game. So literally, if they win tonight, the next game 6, they win. Game 7, they win.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because the same 2 teams were in it last year, and it was like I think
And the year before.
the Warriors won game 1, and then the Cavs won game 2, and then it was like 3 and 4 went to the Warriors, so it was like they were down 3-1, and the Cavs ended up coming back.
They
But
won
it-
3 games at the end.
Really?
But then it's like this year, the Warriors won the first 3 games, and it's
Oh.
like then the Cavs won the next one. So they're saying like never in history before has a team come back from a 3-0 deficit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they're, and I mean I think this is the
There's
team,
no one. There's no one on the floor I have more faith in than LeBron.
LeBron.
honestly.
But I
Honestly.
think that if LeBron
And
isn't
that's not a
in
bandwagon
Cleveland,
mood. I'm against bandwagon.
if LeBron isn't in Cleveland though, I don't think they're in the finals or even like potentially making the comeback.
I mean, I say they win tonight.
I think, but I mean they
Yeah.
absolutely destroyed. Would they have like 60 points in the first, 90 points in the first half or something
Well, they
like that?
broke a record. I think they had like 62 and like not 62.
And
It's
they
like
made,
48
like-
in the first quarter.
In the first quarter, yeah.
Yeah.
Here, I'll look it up. They had like 18.
Usually they go about 100 points a game, give or take 10, 15.
So it's going on right now, the game?
I think it's
Is
like
it
part 9,
nine?
yeah. That's what I
Oh.
said. So
I don't watch them. I get too stressed out.
It's yeah, it is going on right
Seriously.
now actually.
You seem like the kind of person that would.
Oh, I get hyped. Oh man.
It was game 4, right?
So
It's
this.
like 134 to like 116 or something.
How do they determine who goes in the finals in the NBA?
You go play.
It's like playoffs, yeah. It's like
There's
football.
15. There's 15 teams in the East Conference, and 15 teams in the
That's
West
it?
Conference. Yeah, there's 30 teams, and then 8 teams from each conference. They play in their own conferences.
Mm.
Then they have conference semifinals, conference, and then conference finals.
Okay.
And then
Finals.
finals.
Yeah, no, listen to this. Okay, so at halftime, the Cavs were up 86 to 68.
Mm.
In the first quarter, they scored 49 points. A quarter is what, 12 minutes? Something like that?
Is that 15?
10? No, that's football. I'm pretty sure it's like
It's 12.
12 minutes. 12 minutes, and they scored 49 points. And
Really?
then in 24
Wait, the
minutes,
Cavs did?
the Cavs did. That was like, and they had like what 18 threes or no, not 18, like 11 threes, some crazy
Oh,
number.
Yeah, they did good. But I mean, that was like best case scenario for them. And
True.
It's not looking in their favor, but hey.
Here, let me see what it is right now.
All right. Let me go back to this. All right. So
Autism.
I'm talking about autism. All right. So I tell you to draw a house. You're probably
Oh, I have seen that.
You have
That
seen
is
it?
the like I was like,
Best
oh, that makes
explanation.
so much sense.
Best
That makes so much sense.
Here, explain.
I'll
And-
just say it. I'll just say this. Okay, if I ask you to draw a picture of a house, you're probably gonna draw like a square. You're gonna draw something like a.
You can
pentagon.
take him through it.
You're
You
gonna
can
draw a
absolutely do
square.
the thing with him.
That's too much.
Oh no, do this. Okay, when you think, say when someone says to think, what you said, how? Say when someone says to think of a church, right? Like, what do you think of generally? If you were to say you were to draw a church, what would you like do?
I mean, you gotta add like the cross, like, and just. I mean, I kind of heard you say it, but I would like just kind of draw like just the square and
Yeah,
the
it's
triangle on
basically
top, and
you've
then
never ever seen a church or a house that would look like what you draw on paper. You never see that. You go down the road.
I think the best
you
one
go
was
past one.
the best one was, what do people do when they draw a person?
That too.
stick
Stick figure.
Yeah.
You, who looks like a stick
No.
figure? Nobody ever does. And I was thinking about this because at my cousin's graduation a few weeks ago, we went up there and there was this kid that had autism, and my cousin, "What's up, man?" And sky's up. The hell's wrong with this kid? He's like, "Oh, he has autism." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he asked him questions. He's real literal, real literal.
Mhm.
But back to and I mean that kind of made me think about it more. And then he explained that. I'm like, well, but he's like, if you ask an autistic person to draw a house, they're usually gonna draw like a house they've seen before, like a highly detailed, like drawn out, like a picture in their head that they've seen before. Like they're gonna draw their house or some house that they've seen. And he explains the fact that people with autism don't have a high level of abstract thinking, and they can't generalize based off what they've seen before. They can't draw conclusions very well, and they think very specific about stuff. Like, another thing he said was, let's say you walk into a kitchen and your mom moves the table to a different side of the kitchen, and you come in there and you're like, oh, why do you move the table? It's fine. Some person with severe autism would freak
out
the hell out.
Yeah, they think
because
like in
it's a whole different kitchen.
Yeah,
it's a whole different
place.
room. It's a whole different place.
Yeah.
It's not even the same. They're, oh my god, the toaster's moved.
Yeah.
You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
I saw a case of this on Twitter actually, because when Blockbuster went out of business, these autistic parents, and this went viral. These autistic parents bought like a Blockbuster rack, because like you don't like for a severely autistic kid, you couldn't just buy like a bunch of movies. You'd have to buy like a Blockbuster rack because he likes that place, Yeah. So like you'd have to like set to that specific one.
Yeah.
So what makes humans so like powerful in our thinking is we can gather up a group of data, and we can abstract like trends and analyze. But like animals will think like specifically too. But more intelligent animals like dogs or dolphins or apes can also abstract. But we can like gather we can gather the data of houses, and then we can abstract the most important elements out of a house, and we can add details to it as we go to make it more clear. But in the most basic form, if you were to draw a square and put a triangle on top of it and put a rectangle like in the square with a little circle, everyone would assume it was a house.
But there's no actual house.
Yeah, no house looks like that. And then you can start adding detail, and like say you put like a steeple, like a cross on it, and people go church.
Yeah. But people with autism have a hard time drawing out those, like the most important elements of things, and to them they have to draw out everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything makes up the whole, rather than us. The most important four things make up, and we don't understand. Okay, that's a house. You know what I mean? They'd be, oh, what even is this? A square with a triangle and a little cross on top. They're very,
like,
very,
yeah.
very literal. People with severe autism are very literal. You ask them a question, and it's obviously figurative. You know what I mean? What's up? You know what I mean? Sky's up. You know, like, well, no shit, man. I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, yeah,
but
but
that's just the way it is.
I know, and that's why like depending on like autism is on a spectrum, so it's a little bit like it'll be to a certain degree, and that's why they have such a hard time with conversations, because like they like a lot of people with autism have a hard time if they don't like hear the same thing in a conversation one doing next. It'd be like having to learn how to speak like a new conversation each time because we'd be like hey, like I'd be like hey to someone I meet and I can like hear the response they give and like be able to adapt to it. But someone with autism might have a harder time doing that because it's not something they've heard before or something they're used to. So like
highly fixated on details.
yeah.
That's the best way to put it. They just aren't as good at generalizing based off a wide variety of information. They can't pull all the information in their head and say, okay, this is what we need. It's more like, okay, we need this, and it's a big, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. Honestly, I've never heard it explained like that.
That's why they make good programmers and they make because like they focus on
yeah.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know my mom always told me growing up, she's like, yeah, he has, because I've known a few people with autism or whatever. She's like, yeah, but in the cases that I've been subjected to is they're generally very smart.
Yeah.
Very smart, and you know, and
but
that
like
may be due to the fact that they're very thorough.
Yeah.
And they're very well. I guess they have like very specific and detailed responses to everything.
But like sarcasm, you can't be sarcastic with them. That wouldn't fly. They'd be like, "What?"
Anything figurative.
Yeah,
usually
exactly.
people with severe autism, you can be figurative with.
Yeah.
I mean, sarcasm or anything like that.
And I guess
that was hard for me to understand until he explained it.
Yeah, it was a good explanation.
See, but that wasn't his explanation. He was talking about a lady that had autism, but she controlled it as well. Her mom helped her, and she tried to like learn about like why she was that way and everything. She kind of got out of it. I mean, she's still autistic, but she's not that bad at all. And she started like trying to think of ways to explain like what she was doing, better, so people better understood what was going on.
But so on this trip up to Canada, I got to meet two really cool people, and one of them was my boss's wife, and she grew up in Bulgaria, right? And her grandfather came to America, started working on the railroads, and was a very good worker, and he eventually like, started like managing positions or whatever, and he got a lot of money. Thanks capitalism, good stuff. And then her grandpa moved back to Bulgaria and got a ton of land, like 1,000 acres or whatever, and started living off the land just because he like made a bunch of money in America. And when Soviet Russia came over and communism started spreading through Eastern Europe, they took away her grandfather's land and literally killed her grandfather when they started collectivizing farms. So I got to meet someone whose grandfather's literally like communism swept through Eastern Europe, and the Bulgarian government became oppressive or whatever. They literally took away her grandfather's 1,000 land and killed her grandpa's, and that just blew my mind. I don't know. It's just like there's still remnants of communism that we don't pay attention to, and so she grew up in that, but then she eventually left Bulgaria.
You know, I hate how it's explained, like especially in school, how it's just like it's just another way of thinking. No, it's actually it's dangerous.
Yes, exactly.
On like a very like high level. It's not
like private land is not
good.
greedy. It's important. You know, you don't want like you can't just share your land with I don't know. But Bulgaria is starting these like they gave the land back to her cousins, so they're starting these like giving back land that the communist people took. Connor's over here drinking Monster. Honestly, it's probably not a lot of caffeine for you.
Shit, no. Has like 120, 140 from like.
So my dad works
70 milligrams per 8 fluid ounces is 16. Yeah, 16.
That's not that much. But my dad works for a company up in Canada, and it's like an engineering company. It's super specific, so they get like really smart people from all around the world. And I got to meet with one of their electrical engineers there, and his name was I'm not gonna say his name. He was such a cool guy to talk to, and I only got to talk to him for like 15 minutes. But he read this book I'm reading, The Gulag Archipelago, when you could get arrested for it. So he lived in Poland, and he would like read it at night because he could get arrested for freaking reading this book. And this like the way this dude was just really smooth with the way he talked. And yeah, he remembers. He said that before Poland fell under communist rule, the media was all just together. And they would all like put out the same script, and so the media all ran the same stories. and then
Propaganda.
yeah, it was probably and so. But
But
no one
was it ran by the government?
It wasn't ran by the government yet, but like there was
It
collusion.
was just
there was
about,
yeah.
yeah.
And so what? So this set up
Collusion.
the perfect system for the government to take over. And then he said no one had heard about communism because the media wasn't talking about it until all of a sudden in like a week their government was under communist rule. And he has some cool stories, but he says he picks up on.
How's the government pulling out?
I don't know, to be honest. I think they're.
All I know is they have like no terror attacks.
Yeah, my dad's been to Poland. He said it like this, so I think they find out. But this Tom, he says because he grew up in communist Poland, so or like Poland during the Iron Wall. But so he like could pick up very small details, and he's funny because he says he kept saying he was brainwashed because when he referred to political leaders, he referred to this Polish name that they had to use when he was younger. Like respecting them, so he like accidentally keep referring to our political leaders. Like he would say like this Polish word Trump, and he'd be like, "I'm freaking brainwashed. I can't say president just because I like grew up like respecting. They had to respect leaders because it was like illegal." And he was just like a fun guy to talk to. I don't know. They're like both really cool people to meet.
No, I think like if you run into people from like other, even if they're from like New York or whatever, you know what I mean, or from Europe. I talked to people from Europe whenever I worked at the Christmas tree farm. I talked to people from Europe. And like one was from the UK or whatever. It's just cool talking to them.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I
That's
love
so
meeting
cool
new
to me.
people. Yeah, I love meeting new people.
People from, I mean, Hyro's family's from Mexico. That's cool with me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's a whole different ballgame.
I think I got that like. I love talking with people with different experiences. It's because Lovely, who's in our house, like she had like crazy stories from Haiti, and not like insane, but just different, like different from what I'm used to. And like the way they raise children there is way different, and the way they keep pets is way different there. And so I just love meeting people like with new experiences, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, so when I was there, I was like, Richard, you're gonna teach me about Canadian politics, and he's considered Republican, like conservative there, but in America most people consider him liberal, and it made me realize how liberal Canadians are. I was like, holy cow.
You talk about their healthcare system?
No, just like in everything in general. So we were watching. They have a government-funded news. Like people, I'm being serious. I'm being serious. He was like, "All right, Jackson, we're gonna watch the government-funded news channel." And so like, we watched the government, and they were just doing provincial elections there. So I also got to learn about how the provincial elections.
Well, Toronto is they're regulating the content of people's speech.
Mm-hmm. They are, yeah, with Bill C-16. But
so
I was they're government funded. Government funded. It's like, you know how we have PBS for streaming? What is that?
It's a score of the game.
Oh, so you know how we have like PBS, which is publicly funded? They have news that is government funded. And so it was just, I was just watching these news stories, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Oh.
I don't even know why we fund PBS, honestly.
I can see the value in it for kids, but that's about it. But anyway, I was watching their government funded news channel, and they have the liberals, they have the new conservatives or new conservatives, and then the new Democratic Party, which is like super crazy left wing, and just like they're basically like full blown socialists, and they like got like a provincial leader there somewhere. But we were watching this story about this guy who had to go on jury duty, and they were taking this guy completely serious. But this guy had to go on jury duty, and he said he had PTSD from sitting in on jury duty, and it was just so gross. I was like, this is on government funded news channels.
Have you heard him talk about? Have you heard him? What's his name? Talk about Jordan Peterson. Talk about PTSD.
No, I haven't.
That's
oh yes,
so
yes, it is with evil not being able to reconcile themselves.
They
like,
can't.
with what
They
they've
can't
done.
draw the
Yeah.
bridge between who they
Yeah.
were and the stuff that they've done.
Yes, exactly. That's a good point. But this guy was saying that he sat in a jury duty case, and the lady was taking him 100% seriously, and like Canadians, like a lot of them would agree with him. They're so like liberal, and he was like, the lady was asking him like, what sort of symptoms have you had since jury duty? He's like, yeah, I've had insomnia, like I've had PTSD. I'm like my outlook on the world is different. And he said I have meat aversion. He's like, I can't eat meat anymore. I was like, dude, it's just
What? I don't understand what does this.
I don't know. it's crazy. It's Canada's so liberal. Everyone like they all have this weird view of
Liberal's
Americans.
fine, but liberal has turned into like this huge like it's turned into identity politics,
Yeah.
which is bad. Self-proclaimed victimization,
Yes.
which is even probably worse. I mean, those two are what they are. I mean, that's what it's turned into.
The identity politics is the biggest thing that's like a danger to America, I think. Like the idea of white privilege. I used to be like, yeah, okay, so people are privileged. That is a thing. But to say there is white privilege in general is
Yeah,
not.
I saw two homeless guys in the here that happen to be white. They
Yeah.
like shit.
They're retarded for not taking advantage of their white privilege and
Yeah.
becoming rich. It's just crazy to me how people want to
And then
charge.
institutional racism, that gets me off too.
What,
That's
dude?
one of the
That's
biggest
my
ones.
favorite argument from Ben Shapiro. He's
Yeah.
like, okay,
he's like, name the institution that is racist.
And I'll fight it
name
with
a
you.
law. Name, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I will agree with you that there are individual cases of racism, individual isolated cases of racism.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's like, and I will stand beside you
And
and
fight
protesting them. He's like, but he's like, you cannot name one institution that is actually racist. He's like, first you have to identify the institution or law or regulation that happens to be racist, and nobody can name anything.
Uh-huh.
I'm just like,
Yeah, people are taking specific examples which happen. Like people are racist. Like
okay, you
there
can't apply anecdotal.
exactly. Like
situations.
there are racist cops who would murder a black person, but that doesn't mean that there's like white privilege because of that. And you can't charge.
I don't even think that's like. I don't think. I don't think anybody goes out of their house every day and like, I'm gonna kill me a black guy.
Well, there are some people, but it's such a small minority that you can't claim
Okay, and still, who would do that? I mean, honestly, who would want to deal with that? Honestly, I couldn't withstand a trial, dude. I honestly would have PTSD after a trial. I shot somebody, and they reached in their car. I told him to get on the ground, and I have like 3 other officers with me. We're approaching the guy. Get on the ground. He knew he had a weapon, and then he reached into his car, grabbing something, and he got shot. And it's like, I mean, you know,
I know.
cops. I have huge issues with the way people like the public's opinion on cops. Like, you don't understand. People don't understand. People have no idea.
My opinion on police officers is like there's good ones, but there's a small minority of people who are corrupt, and police officers can never be infallible in their minds. And so, have you ever heard of the book The Blue Veil?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, so it's kind of I haven't read it, but it's kind of talking about that. I've like watched some videos on it, but like how there are definitely police officers, and they all kind of like inside swear like allegiance to each other. So there are groups of that, and I do think some of that like in like public executions or like in traffic stops, people being shot for like no, like there are definitely some cases where I'm like, holy cow, that was an execution, you know.
I watched the video. There's a 17-year-old kid. He got pulled over. The cop told him to get out of the well. He was trying to help the kid. Usually, this is what I don't understand what people do. Okay, literally, our government system is set up so that you can go to court and fight what just happened. Okay, in
and
a situation,
for free if you want it.
Make it easier on your. Well, it's not free, but
no, the attorney.
I mean,
you have a right to an attorney.
Yeah, I know, but you're paying for that anyway.
No, the government attorney. It might be a crappy one, but
oh yeah, for one, it's crappy, and for two, you've probably paid for that. You probably paid 2 years of that attorney's salary in your freaking
true.
taxes
That's true.
the whole time.
No, yeah, you're right.
But I mean, that doesn't even matter to me. It's just the fact that literally the judicial system is set up so you can go and fight stuff that went wrong on the enforcement side of the government. Law enforcement does something wrong. Okay, take me to jail, bail out, go to court, fix it. But people try to fight it in the moment, and then emotions on both sides go back and forth, and then they escalate the situation and are hostile, and then something bad happens to them, and it's like, come on, like I can't tell you asked for it, because I mean that's like this. What's his name talked about it too? Just world phenomenon where people deserve what happens to them, which is kind of not really accepted that much. But I mean, if you just go along with what happens and you take it, all right, let's go. Hey, you want to get tased?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to get tased,
So,
man.
alright.
I'm willing. Take me, man. Take me. Stick me a few times too. Let's go. I'll see you in court.
Okay, I would agree with that, right? But I was over at one of my friend's house, and like one of his people were over, and it was like they were both black people, and the other guy that we were talking about like what happened like recently with police shootings, and he said basically, and he's from a different country, so his accent was really thick, but he said like if the police ever arrest me and I didn't do anything wrong, he's like they're not gonna arrest me. Like,
but they are.
They are, and if you resist, that's how people get shot. The problem is
the officer can use force at the same level or one level ahead of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, if you hit, they can use fists. They can use elbows.
And as soon as the
you have
threat,
fists, they use baton, taser, fists, and everything below that.
Exactly.
If you have a weapon, if you have a bat, a knife, anything like that, they can use deadly force.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
automatically at that level, you're not taking me. I have a bat in my hand, and literally, if you walk towards the cop, literally they're justified to shoot you.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, you're justified.
Yeah, exactly. So he was like, so the mentality behind it was like, he's not gonna get me on my knees. He's like, he'd have to kill me before. I was like, that's what's getting young black men killed.
Yeah.
Because in some cases they might be in the right, but then ego gets in the way, which is an inherently male thing. Guys have huge egos, so the ego gets in the way, and that's what's getting these young black men killed. And of course, there are like cases where, like I saw one video of this really old dude, and he started running away. Running away from the police officer when he was like 30 feet away from him. The police officer drew his gun and shot him a few times, and then tried to plant his gun on the dude's by the dude's body. I was like, oh my, that was crazy. So I was like, that is a clear case, but it's not every case. And then these young black men's egos get involved, and because like I'm in the white culture community, people like parents are just like, just be respectful no matter what. And then if you get arrested and you're in the right, we'll take him to court. Exactly. But
and there is one issue with that. It depends on what judge you get, but generally a cop's word is slightly worth more than yours. So you're damned either way.
But still, do you want to live?
I think the best way to avoid situations like that is to avoid law enforcement all around.
Mm-hmm.
If you're driving 20 miles an hour over, you're asking for it.
Yeah.
If you have your hand in your pants and you're on a big hoodie walking around by cops, you're kind of asking for it. There's literally ways, like, my dad was a cop, but literally, like, he didn't have an encounter. My parents, they don't have encounters with cops, like, you get in a wreck or something. Mm-hmm. But, like, you don't have, as long as you avoid it, as long as you avoid the situation altogether, nothing will happen. You know what I mean? And people don't. They put themselves in those situations, and then they act like an asshole in the situation to somebody that has more authority than you. Somebody that has a gun. Somebody that's mad, sad, angry, scared. Yeah. Scared is probably a huge one. And something bad happens, and they're like, "Why did I know? No, I didn't know." No. Yeah. And then the people that have their windows like this far up, and a cop asks you I don't have to give you my ID, and it's part of the Constitution. I'm a free man on land.
I'm a sovereign citizen.
Yes, I'm a sovereign citizen. Okay, but that doesn't. Driving and flying. If you think driving and flying are what do they call it? Free man travel or whatever. Flying and driving are not free man travel.
Get off our roads. Those are public.
It's not. You're not. And then people try to mess around and stuff. They have their windows up, tinted windows, and they won't roll their windows down. A cop sitting there in the middle of the night, they're like, dude, all I want is your thing out of me. I don't want to cause no problems. Just your license and registration, proof of insurance. He's like, all right, your ticket. We're done. No, I don't have to give you anything.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your name? Okay, let's go this way. You don't have to give me your ID. Just give me a name and date of birth so I can go run. No. And then it's like.
And then get out of the car.
They're patient.
No. Like, get out of the car. No. Like, listen to the car.
And then they're like, okay, well, I'm going to tell you one more time. You either give me that and we get this over with, or I'm going to have to get you out of the car. And then break the window, jump in, do whatever they have to do. Well, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Rape.
Yeah. I know the exact video you're talking about. I watched that exact.
The girl, like in the passenger seat.
Exact. Yeah.
She's like,
I knew the exact video you're talking about when you said sovereign citizen.
there's a lot of them, and I just don't understand why people do that. Like
you're not helping yourself.
It's
So what it is, it's like such an ego thing. Like, okay, say that even if the police do use excessive force, that might be a losing court case. Like, you can still bring it to court, but you might lose because of the police officer's word.
don't.
But you're still living another day. Even if the
Yeah.
police was brutal to you, you're still gonna live another day. So I feel like people's egos take control, or like their emotions, like they just get pissed.
Yeah.
Like you can get pissed at the cops, you know. Like say you really thought you were in the right, but still you gotta like be like, I'm gonna swallow that. I'm gonna take control of my emotions so I can live another day. Because ultimately the police, even though it sucks, the two police officers' words gonna be worth way more than yours.
Yeah.
And if you're dead, you're not gonna be able to say.
I mean, that's what my dad explained to me. He's like honestly, he's like I was generally, I was a nice cop. I was always nice to people. I mean, if they were rude and kind of assholes, he's like, I mean, I would screw them over a little bit. But he's like, I'd write him a few tickets, not just one. And he told me he's like, you deal with the nastiest, dirtiest, crappiest people, and it starts to change the way you view the public in general. He's like a lot of cops that I dealt with. He's like, they viewed the public as almost
enemy.
helpless.
Oh, helpless.
And
Never
they
that.
didn't. Well, I mean, if you ever seen videos where like people have a gun and cops, oh no,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, he actually has a right to have a
True.
gun, and cops act like people can't have guns, people can't defend themselves. You ever see them show up at, like a street fight or something or anything like that, and they're like automatically in there, like they're defending somebody, themselves or whatever they are. Like a lot of them have an idea that they think generally people are helpless, or they think everybody's bad. They just get a mindset, because I mean, you literally deal with the worst of people,
And
Literally the worst
everyone's
of
lying to you
people.
every day, you know.
and if as long as you're nice and you try to be like straight up with it. Sometimes cops are just, I mean, they're in a bad mood or whatever. You just try to, hey, I understand, you know, just give me my crap, let's get out of here. But hey, if you don't escalate the situation, you're not gonna have a problem. It's not like a cop comes up to you and like,
It's shooting you.
yeah,
in the
he's
head.
not like, you know what I mean? It's,
Yeah, so we were driving down. I think I've already told the story like twice in this podcast. But we were driving in New Mexico in the middle of nowhere, and my dad had a bunch of stuff for his work in the back of his truck, so it was loading down. I just picked it up. It's fine. You're fine, dude. No, it didn't. It's fine. You're fine. You're just an idiot. But no, I'm playing. Anyway, do you guys want a ginger beer, by the way?
ginger beer.
Yeah. It's like a root beer, but it's made with ginger and it's pretty good.
Sure.
You want one? Alright.
Right.
Connor's taking a pee right now, so I'll take a quickly.
Gotta get in this podcast somehow.
Miguel, you're so quiet. They're wheeling over here.
I'm just taking in everything that's coming my way. This really isn't a topic I'm like huge on, so I'm just kind of taking in everyone's opinion. You know? It's been fun listening. Is this what you? I saw a photo. Were you drinking?
Yeah, have you heard of hypochondriac? I think you said you're a little bit like that too, right? Yeah.
I think everybody is to a certain extent.
Yeah, but so I was like sitting in Canada, and anytime my mental state alters a little bit, like I can easily start freaking out. So my kidneys, cause I don't typically drink them, like drink that. So my kidneys were starting like to feel a little bit bad, and then my body was just like shivering because it was cold out, and so I was like I was in the sleeping bag, like feeling a little woozy, and I was like, I have meningitis. Like I immediately assume I'm gonna die. I used as a kid. It was horrible.
Yeah, you were telling us about that.
Yeah.
You were like,
I literally seriously thought I was going to die at the age of by 16, just from cancer. I thought I had bone cancer. I thought I had brain tumors. Like, every day I was like, I'm going to die in like 2 years. It was so bad, but I got over it by the time I was like 13, 14.
recording?
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
It is. No, it's on. But yeah, this stuff tastes, I really like how it tastes.
It's different. It like you know like whenever you have hibachi or whatever, the salad, like the ginger dressing, it's just exactly that.
You're drinking ginger dressing right now.
Oh, we're back on.
Yeah, we're recording. Hypochondriac's like being. Well, I'm. That's a self-diagnosis. I've never been told that I'm that, but I think I am. Cause like you go, okay. There's 100 cases in my life.
Generally, any like psychological disorder like that, the level in which they define you as that, because you can name yourself like extended amount of. But generally, when they define it is whenever it impairs your everyday life, like whenever you can't live and can't function to your normally because of that. So it's like I have skin disease, so I can't go outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
or if
definitely
I go
don't have
outside,
that.
I'll get skin disease. You know what
So
I mean?
like it's running in the back of my mind, but my conscious mind's like, you don't have it, shut up. But
Yeah.
my brain's like, you're dying. So I was like I get to the point, and I was also, what made it worse is I was like 200 miles from the nearest hospital. So if anything went down inside, there's no way I was getting help, you know.
Yeah.
So like, you're dying and you can't breathe, and it just sucked. It was only for the night. Then you go to bed, you wake up like, I'm retarded, but I still feel that way. I don't know.
And I've never had feelings like that before. Never really. Like even in situations like with all the stuff going on, right? It's like I never really thought like, oh, I'll be in that situation one day, but you never know. Man.
That's something I had ever since I was young.
Did you see Gold's change their they're going with a new franchise?
Maddie's texted me. She's like, "Did you know Golds was changing their name?" I was like, "No, I didn't." But
They didn't renew their franchise contract.
they didn't?
Yeah.
I thought someone took over, like someone else bought it out. It's like
They may have, but like, well, they were with Golds before, and I thought it was the same people. That's what Joey told me. The guy at the gym, he said, well, he's like, apparently Golds isn't Golds anymore. They're like FTE or CTE Fitness or something like that.
something weird.
He's like, they changed like 4 of them, like one in Claremont, one in like, they were all Golds too. And I assumed it was the same person that owned them or the same person that bought them. And I guess they didn't renew their contract with Golds.
So
their
what?
franchisee contract.
So are they changing like the name of in the front and everything?
Yeah, just like a banner up.
I guess they're taking out a lot of the machines and like the amenities and whatnot within the gym. From what I hear,
Really?
I've never been inside, but I guess they're like, apparently there's some like a room in the back, something like that they've changed completely. I don't know. That's just from what I hear. I've never been.
Well, luckily I got my year out of it for my contract. I might have to start going somewhere. If they had to start adding more free weights, I'd still keep it. But if they started changing it to like a hippie gym, I don't know what I'd do. I'm gonna tell Ricky that, because Ricky's just about to get a Gold Gym membership, and I was like, dude, get a membership, you can come work out. But if it's gonna turn into like a lame gym, so I'm telling
No,
you,
it shouldn't. Honestly,
you think it would?
No. They probably won't even change anything.
Are they keeping the same manager?
I have no idea. I just know they won't change it much, honestly. It's not like they're going to redo the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes so much sense why I get emails from CT Fitness.
Yeah.
Or like whatever fitness. I was like, who are these guys? And they kept emailing me. They kept emailing me like, you know, whatever, like all these different. That makes sense.
I need to get a gym membership. I don't know.
Nah, Miguel, you're sexy. You're fine. You're right.
Bro, I'm almost at 200 now. I'm getting there.
That's
I'm
how
like,
the women like it.
I'm like 185, 190. On a bad day, I'll be like 192.
Bad day.
On a bad day.
Doesn't he look a little bit more trim? I thought he said with a car.
How much was the last time I told you I weighed? I weighed. Yeah, you
said
do.
like, you said like 220.
I think it's because his haircut, though. His face
I was about to
looks
say the
longer.
haircut.
It happens. My face looks fat before I get haircuts.
Because
Like,
the
it
hair
looks
is
like-
like sticking
yeah.
out.
You know what I think I'm doing right now? So like the first time I went on keto, I was sitting in class sweating. I think since I just ate a ton of carbs, and I just started like keto back today, I'm starting to sweat out all my water weight now. That makes sense to me, because like on keto, like you just don't hold your water weight. So I think my body's getting rid of it all right now because I'm really sweating.
I see. We're kind of sitting right, but you're just like
I'm like,
yourself there.
no, I'm really sweating. But I remember when I first started keto like 6 months ago or whatever. The first day I was like freaking out. I was like, why am I sweating so much? Because you just like start losing all your water weight.
What was the last time? How much did I weigh before I got out of school?
You said like 230, 225.
I thought it was 220, 220, 220.
Yeah, I'm about the same then.
Yeah.
I was just wondering because.
What do you at, Jackson?
I got back on. So before I left my trip, I was like 204, and then I got back and I weighed myself and I was like 212. So I think it's probably
It's water weight.
5-6 pounds of water weight and like 2-3 pounds of like
I
fat.
doubt it.
Maybe. I didn't go.
Fat's over 3,500 calories, so you have to eat a lot more
True.
each day. It's only 2 weeks,
True.
and for you to gain a pound a week is.
And I think, and I hold a lot of water weight, so it might be mostly water weight, but I didn't go overboard. But I still started like 8 carbs and ice cream and brownies, you know. So
Yeah, I mean a pound, probably a pound, maybe 2 tops.
But what is good for me is I ate like a ton of brownies and ice cream and stuff. So so I was starting it was I did like 4 or 5 months of straight keto, so I was starting to like crave. And now, so what I would do is I would eat a little bit here, but I'd eat like a little like a piece of chocolate every night, right? But that would stall my progress. But now after that week, I just got so sick of sugar, so now I'm ready to like hop back on like 100% again. So I'm not considering it a bad thing. Just a good way to like stop for a week.
Like it's pretty good though. It must have felt good like eating like getting back into sweets and whatnot, right?
It tasted good, but my stomach did not like it.
You know, for Lent actually, I gave up soda.
Mm-hmm.
So for 40 days, it was like no soda. I think I messed up. I slipped up one time, I think, by accident. But it was like when I got back, it was like the first week back. I probably had about a soda a day, and it just like felt so good.
No, dude. Okay, so like, it tastes good, right? Mm-hmm. It tastes like the first 3 days. I was like, oh, I missed all this food. But then by the last weekend of the trip, me and my friend, like, we were sitting on that balcony drinking soda, just talking, and I was just like, oh, my stomach is so done. And so I was all pooped out. I was like, I'm ready to go back to eating like eggs and ground beef and cheese and like spinach. Because it makes you feel way better, and I can just think better on no hippie stuff. Like I can actually just like think and process stuff better. And on carbs, I get jittery, and I can't make a point. Like I can't follow my train of thought on carbs. And on keto, I'm just like I just feel better.
I don't know. I give you props for that. I could never like. I love eating bread, like and all that stuff.
Everyone says that.
Flat.
No, everyone says that. Like I give you props, bro. You would have the same like dedication if you were 280 pounds when I started. Like I was 280 pounds. I was fat, now sweating from just sitting in my chair like I am now.
You're on the track to being a member of Antifa.
What do you mean, skinny and?
No, either hella fat or hella skinny.
They're all like either like fat, like kind of you don't know if it's a guy or a girl with purple hair, or they're all like skinny, like looking floppy joints. Yeah. You're like, dude, you need to work out a little bit.
Great genetics.
I feel like everyone that's part of that movement, you just feel kind of bad for them a little bit. Like, then all these people with no friends had to join together.
I watch videos of these people getting this one girl. Have you seen the one? She was like a she was like a porn star, and she was with Antifa, like arguing, like doing their little like rally thing or whatever. And this Trump supporter just came up and knocked her out.
Oh my gosh!
Then people just get rocked, and it's like normal people too. They just get tired of it. Like they're in their face, like, "Shut up! You stop! No, you're bad! No, shh! Shut up!" And they're like screaming in their face, and people are just like, "Bro, seriously, just let me walk around." And then they get in their face and like push them, and they like won't move, and they're like, "God damn, I want to do this." And I just stick them. Yeah.
Exactly. They're trying to play the victim. They try to play the victim. Have you seen the video of the dude, Antifa? He's talking to a Trump supporter, and the Antifa guy pulls down his his mask he's wearing, spits.
Why are you behind a mask?
Okay, that pissed me off first, and their excuses. It's like because we're trying to be like a cohesive group instead of individuals. Jesus, shut up. But
they're going backwards.
Exactly. But he pulls down his it was a trans girl, so got a girl. Pulls down his mask, spits in the Trump supporter's face, and the Trump supporter goes, hey, dude, you can't just freaking do that. And he's like restraining himself, like wants to knock him out. And his friend goes, first of all, it's a girl. And the guy goes, yeah, what are you going to hit a girl? And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, this is not real life. It was just so crazy. I was just pissed.
It's a joke. It's entertaining.
Because he immediately tried to play the victim. Like, yeah, what are you going to hit a girl? Have you seen the one with the bike lock? The professor hits the student on the head with a bike lock inside.
Dude, so these professors are where is he? Why am I even going to go to college?
He was an ethics professor. He teaches ethics. And so, like, there's like a line of women, you know how you can imagine how. And they're all like sitting there like talking to Trump supporters, and it's like a reasonable guy like what they're talking about like policy, and the professor's like behind the line of women, and then he comes like up with a bike lock in his sock, and just like what? He just like winds up and it's like he smacks this guy over the head with a bike lock and just dips. Like you've never seen him for the whole video. He had like a mask on and stuff, and the guy's like bleeding. This guy hit by a freaking metal bike lock in his sock.
The funny part is when the cops
Damn.
come with riot shields and rubber bullets in their guns, and they just start like lighting them up, throwing flashbangs
And like M80, yeah, and then Antifa has like homemade like fireworks or whatever. But okay, do you know? Have you ever heard of 4chan? 4chan, CHAN. So I never heard about it until I watched this Antifa bike lock video, and these 4chan people, some of them like, because he had the professor had a mask on, but they could see by his hair what he looked like, and then the one guy who they thought it was tweeted out that he was going to a Antifa not pep rally, but Antifa protest, and so they could match up his eye color, like how his eyebrows looked, like his long hair, and also that he tweeted out he's going to a pep rally, and then eventually people were like, yeah, that is that professor, I know that dude. So he's actually on trial now because they had enough evidence to convince the police that it was this guy. So 4chan, like this like weird, I don't know how to explain it, but I learned about it from this, and like it's like a message board thing, I think, and they all like got together and they found this guy, and now they're charging him for like attempted murder or whatever. I was like, yes, good stuff, internet. It was crazy. I felt this guy was like in such shock, like he was bleeding like all over his face.
Yeah, I've seen it. I'm pretty sure I've seen it.
Bam! Bike lock right over the head. It was like, jeez. And then Trump supporters started wearing helmets now whenever they show up with like a shield and
I don't
sticks.
even understand why they even go to that shit. Why do you even buy into it? Why do you even
Those
buy
people are
into
just
it?
all trying. They're going there like for a fight, you know.
I mean, I don't blame them. I'd be down too. But
Yeah, I feel. But nah.
like my policy and me on an individual level are totally different.
Mm.
Not totally different. They reflect each other, but they're not exactly the same. Like the way I treat somebody on an individual level is totally different how a policy I think should treat people.
Yeah, that's Ben Shapiro's idea of taking empathy out of politics is spot on.
Yeah,
Because
that's how I.
on a personal level, I care about this
Yeah.
person's specific situation,
But
but
there's-
politically, I think
yeah.
like welfare like is being abused, and so.
Yeah.
But I know this person actually does need some help.
You can give people the benefit of the doubt on the individual level because it is so it's an individual incident and it's isolated.
Yes.
But whenever you do it on a policy, that's when you're taken advantage of.
Yeah.
That's when everything. That's when you're
Because
pissing in the wind.
Because you can't make a judgment on each person on whatever program or whatever, you know, like because it's so many people, you can't make a specific judgment. But on day to day, you can. You can be like, is this person like what are their intentions, you know,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
And it's me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that. And like another thing with like charity and giving people money and stuff. It's me. I think this charity does good. I think they put my money to a good use. Here you go.
Mm.
It's my choice. I may not do it again ever again. You know what I mean? But whenever giving money to a government and they're giving money to
They
people,
choose
like, I have a
what, yeah.
huge issue with that.
Mm.
For one, obviously the government sucks at it, or you wouldn't have the situation we're in right now. How do they determine? Have you seen people with disabilities before that have no disability?
Like they get disability checks, but technically, yeah.
I know people. Well, I mean, I couldn't name one right off the top of my head. Well, I mean, actually, I could, but I know multiple people that have disabilities, but they bullshit the government, and they get checks, and they get the front parking spot. What about a dude that has one leg? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the same.
Yeah, I feel you.
I mean, you have the same. You're in the same category, but literally, you aren't even.
It's not the same like
Yeah.
level or same standard. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's so like the main like I agree with people who don't want to pay for They don't think our taxes should pay for Planned Parenthood because they don't agree with abortions. Like that's a good example of like say you want to fund an abortion center privately, but you shouldn't use someone else's taxpayer money to fund something they won't believe in within reason.
The argument against that is the fact that Planned Parenthood does so many more things than simply abortions.
Yeah, but their main.
I agree. I agree
okay.
with you. I'm just saying a counter argument. That's what you say.
And that is true. That is true. But then, hey, you need to figure out. It's okay.
What do? They don't really do anything that's relatively expensive.
To me, that's like the same argument of like, hey, you should break up with your boyfriend. Yeah, but he pays the rent. But he abuses you. But he pays the rent.
Yeah.
You know, I hate when people are like, we need to abolish this system. And they're like, but they do X. Yeah, but like it's still corrupt, but they do X. You know, I don't know. It's kind of the same argument to me.
I don't know. I kind of agree with Ben Shapiro on abortion, but I'm not like. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a because there's no way. Like, okay, he makes it simple. He says, okay, is it a life or is it not a life?
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. If it is a life, it's murder. If it's not a life, you're good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a life.
Yeah.
Let's face it. I mean, it's not. It was a bundle of cells. He's like, you're technically a bundle of cells too. I mean, anything living. There's single-celled creatures on the planet that are considered life. You know what I mean?
So
it's its own entity.
Exactly it is.
It's not viable.
My classical, since I'm a libertarian, you think I'm a hippie. Like how I think that it should
I just think
be.
libertarians are really hippie on. Tend to be really hippie on like they think there shouldn't be any drug regulation, like none at all. And I'm kind of like, I don't know if none is good, but then again, you can argue that if you have no drug regulation or very limited drug regulation, it inevitably reduces the usage of drugs because for some reason, whenever you start regulating something, it makes it so much more
appealing,
and
it's never worked.
Legislating morality it doesn't work well. And to me, it seems more of like weed. It seems more of an excuse to, okay, we know this guy's a dirtbag. We know whatever.
You can tack on.
He's got 2 grams of weed on him. All right, we're gonna go ahead. We'll just
and then they have mandatory minimums that makes it like sentencing horrible. And police legally can't if they say like police they can but they could technically risk their job.
I take the decriminalization approach to it. I mean, I don't think there should be no regulation. I just don't think there should be. I just don't think people should be in. Because people are serving 20 years for drug charges. And then you have a dude over here that raped a girl and gets out after 4 years.
Yeah, I feel it.
To me, that's not.
Like, jeez, what the heck? What's happening here?
Or somebody killed somebody. It's like, oh yeah, you get 10 years. We reduced it to a manslaughter. What the hell?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And this guy's over here. Yeah, so what? He transported that freaking ton of marijuana, but
in my opinion, it should be like alcohol. Like we should just tax it. I think we should just tax it, and businesses can sell it privately, and states can choose. Like there's strict laws on it, dude. You know you can't buy. We were in Pennsylvania, and they don't sell liquor in their store or any alcohol at all in the grocery stores.
In the grocery store?
Yeah, they don't. Like they don't sell alcohol.
Whenever we go up to my grandparents' house, you can't buy. You can't really buy beer on Sundays.
In Apopka, they do that in Apopka too.
Oh, really?
In some spots in Apopka, like at a Winn-Dixie, right by my cousin's house, you can't buy alcohol on Sunday.
Because we go up north, and we're going up north, and we're in like Tennessee or something. I don't know. He's like, "Hey, do y'all sell alcohol on Sundays?" They're like, "Oh yeah." He's like, well, "I don't know," because he's from up there, so like he always. I've never been exposed to that. I'm like, alcohol. What the hell? Why does it matter? I mean, go to church, come home, and have a cold beer.
Yeah, have a nice drink.
Come on, right?
It's old rules, like old Protestant areas. Like that's what like Philadelphia, New York. It's historically Protestant, so they have really outdated laws.
And honestly, that's my biggest problem with the right is the fact that people make religious arguments, and I don't buy into those. I don't think they're I don't think they're valid arguments.
I don't think if you're making a religious argument for your political whatever, it's not like the same area,
But it's not okay. Well, so what that dumbass book says. I mean, not that I actually think that. I mean, because I kind of had that idea about any type of religion. I'm kind of like, but then Jordan Peterson started pointing out like important points that it made, and he's like, dude, he was like, this was 2,000 years ago. He's like, these people knew exactly what they were doing, and he's like, they were very good at this. He's like, there's a lot of valuable lessons that they put in the Bible. That's the one he mainly talks about. And he uses parts of the Old Testament to teach in his psychology class, because he talks a lot about in
archetypes.
Joe Rogan's podcast. I got through that. I didn't really pay much attention to that. It didn't really get to me when he starts talking about a dominance hierarchy. I'm like, I'm like, whoa, like what? I never even, you know what I mean? Which it makes sense. And then what did he start talking about? He started talking about. He's like, you remember like when he started talking about the snake?
Yeah.
And like what the snake represents. He's like, because we started as recognizing a snake as an individual and specific threat to us. He's like, and then we began to have the ability to connect that snake to something that he thinks in his head, and he starts talking about how we began to be able to understand the future and to prepare for the future. And he explains how our society now is based off us preparing for the future, but it doesn't technically make life better. It just makes it longer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, phew. He's like, society hasn't technically made life better. It's just made it longer.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, because for you preparing for the future, you're sacrificing the now, and you continue to sacrifice the present for the future.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's a never-ending thing. You continue to sacrifice the present for the future, which takes away from the present, but there will be a future.
So his example he cites for that is the use of money. How with money you're gambling with the like not gambling, you're exchanging like the future.
Yeah,
like
you're
saying
exchanging for the future.
Like you're like our country runs out this system, and I have this much, and in the future I can do with what
and
what
that's
I want.
the most basic example.
Yeah,
that's the most basic example. But he said it starts off by like people started understanding the future, and they understood that they were gonna die. Like they began to conceptualize death. And I'm just like, whoa, like.
So when we were talking about like I'm a very, by the way, I do that a lot. Like when I'm talking with my friends, like I just like touch their knees or whatever. Like I'm just very like hands on, but that bothers some people. Sorry, but
I'm not like that. I'm not. Some people are anal like that.
Some people
don't
are.
touch me, man.
Like don't touch me, bro. Like I'm not really a hug person. I'm like shut up, I love hugs. But anyway, I might hold religious beliefs. Like I'll hold religious beliefs, but I don't think those should bleed into politics. I think they're two separate spheres, and you shouldn't want to legislate your religious beliefs on someone else, because that gets really dangerous, and that's not like what you that's really not what you should be doing at all, because it's not going to change someone like how they really feel, you know. I don't know, it's just how I feel.
43-45 Warriors.
Really?
Yeah. I hope they don't win, bro. I'll be pissed.
Well, they're in Oakland, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's anybody's game. It's one basket, so I mean. But I mean, I'd at least like them to see you go to a game 7, even if they lose in game 7. But I mean, when's the last time there's a finals out of game 7? Like,
Last year.
that was over in 7.
So I was in Canada, this last week, and I was this guy Tom I told you about who lived in Poland. Well, he worked in the same area than this other dude, and the other dude was like a little crazy, and in my opinion, he like would look at you and like smile when they talked about things. But these guys are both considered very conservative in Canada because they like held bad political beliefs about Islam. So that in Canada that's considered very conservative. But the one guy that works with him, he was like, Islamophobia. People in Canada have Islamophilia, and he gave me like this weird look and like started smiling about it. But with the one guy from Poland, like was very interested in, he said in Canada, like everyone gets excited about Ramadan.
They have a Snapchat thing for that.
Yeah, exactly. Even if people aren't Islamic or Muslim, even if people aren't Muslim, they're like get excited about all that crap. But Tom, this dude, he was like, why don't people get as excited about Lent? Like no one would ever get that excited. Like the media would never get excited about Lent, which is basically the same thing, but just like Jewish or Christian or whatever. And so he was just like that. Like that's very interesting to him. I don't know. And we, I think in any Western nation, if you have a foreign imam, it's like a foreign Islamic teacher, and they are preaching violence against the West or violence against a group of people, I don't know, dude. They need to be deported. That's so dangerous.
Well, I mean, there's actual studies that show 13% of Islamic people believe that suicide bombings sometimes are always justified.
And
that's almost 300 million people, and I kind of have a problem with that.
And then the number for death for apostasy, so people should be killed if they renounce Islam or they turn away from the Islamic faith, is even higher. It's like 30 to 40.
It's barbaric.
That's crazy. It's crazy that many people believe that.
You know, what's his name? Gavin McInnes. He says that they're 4 or 5 generations behind us.
Yeah.
And that kind of sounds kind of bad, but I mean it makes sense. And he blames it on inbreeding.
Yeah, I didn't know about that actually before. Like how it's like not as socially looked down upon. That was interesting to me.
Because he said literally they inbreed like generations after
Yeah.
generation. Which I don't know if that's.
I haven't seen anything like verifying that, but if it is true, it's interesting.
He started a study.
True. But it's just crazy.
We talk about global warming.
We can talk about this.
Talked about that.
We have not talked about it before because we're going to talk about that one podcast, but we can talk about it in a second.
Well, climate change.
Climate change. What's crazy to me is how people like no, we need more Muslims. Like we need. I don't know. I just think if we're not careful with it, it can be the death of the West. Because people who are truly like following the Islamic faith and like are extreme about it want the whole world to be like the Middle East is, as in like oppressive towards women and all that jazz. So people who are truly like trying to go out and like conquer.
We know like Saudi Arabia and like 2 other countries over there on the board for advancement of women in the UN with the UN. They literally put them, or they nominated them to be the countries to represent like the women's rights and that kind of stuff in the UN. Like, do you not understand the issue in that? Like, do you not understand the issue in that?
Did you see the Saudi Arabian soccer team?
Huh.
Australia, they were playing as like maybe it's a different Middle East country, but they're Australia and Saudi Arabia, I believe. And did you see this?
Oh my gosh! That
What's the score?
Fast, 43 to 54.
Warriors
We dropped 10 points in like 2 minutes.
Jeez. But it was the Saudi Arabia versus Australia. It was just after the Manchester attack. So everyone in the stadium in Australia, the Australian soccer team, they all lined up, but the Saudi Arabian team didn't. They just they weren't going to respect the silence that they had for Manchester, and they just kept warming up and practicing. It's kind of I don't know. I just thought it was really disrespectful, and just stuff like that. It just like drives me insane, because like the Islamic population is growing faster than the Western population, and that went like when people talk about white genocide, I'm like, come on, shut up. People getting like racial interbreeding is not white genocide. Shut up. But when people like start talking about like the Islamic population growing and just like how they like want to like death to the West so bad, it's like, geez, if we're not careful with this, and if we like accept it as much as we do now, then it could be the death of us, the West. But global warming, you want to talk about that? Climate change.
Well, I mean, that's why they changed the name of it.
How do I feel about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Climate alarmism, saying that population's they're all gonna die by 2060 or like we're all gonna.
That's fear mongering. For political purposes.
And the inconvenient truth, he thought like the ice caps were gonna melt way more than they were, and he's making a second one. So it was 2003. Let's see when it was made. But he was like, in 10 years, parts of the United States are going to be underwater.
I've seen people. Well, I know this for a fact. Ben Shapiro talks about this a lot. The biggest climate change study in the UK had it was discredited now because it had too much falsified data in it. Like they put numbers in. They put numbers into their study, and they ended up finding this out. I don't know how they found out like discrepancies or whatever. But there was like huge problems with that, and apparently like I've always thought like we're at like a slowly like it's getting warmer, but then they said the last 3 years have been cooler overall than the previous 10, and I was kind of like, well, I thought we were on like a slower trend, but I kind of take Ben Shapiro's approach to this too, is the fact that okay, you say there's climate change. Okay, I'm willing to accept that that's a possibility and it may probably even be happening. But nobody provides a solution to it. What are you going to do? You're going to stop driving cars? Mm-hmm. And he makes the point where you're going to plunge us back into the 1850s?
Yeah.
For the fact that the Earth may heat up 0.00001 degrees over the course of 100 years. Are you willing to shoot us back 200 years because of that? He's like, do you know? He's like, and then he started explaining how, I don't know, like in the Middle East, like all these other places, they burn some type of material. I don't know what it is, and it gives off like I don't know how much. I don't know what it gives off, but it gives off like these greenhouse gases or whatever that are apparently bad. and like each time they burn one of those, it's worse than a car for this amount of time.
Yeah, I feel you.
Okay. And he says these women, the family over there, they don't care. They don't care that the Earth is warming maybe this small decimal over a course of time. They're more worried about the immediate threat of their child not surviving the night because they're going to get too cold and die.
Yeah.
He said that there's no good way to tackle
it's
it,
easy.
and nobody's providing a way to tackle it. They just say, "Oh, well, you're an idiot because you're denying it." It's like, no, well, I'm skeptical of the way you're saying because you haven't provided a way to fix it. There isn't. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna? Electricity? You're gonna stop? Because the majority of power plants are ran off coal.
Mm-hmm.
Even the one in Crystal River, which feeds most of Florida, coal. Mm-hmm. 4 of the plants there are coal. 5 is a nuclear one. Nuclear one has been down since like 2012 because they screwed up on the engineering part of it. Foundation like cracked in it and everything, and they tried to fix it. I don't know. They pay another company. I think they pay Florida Power and Light, or they pay. Seco buys their power from Duke because Duke owns that power plant, but they pay. I think they lose like $26 million a day, $30 million a day because they have to buy power because that power plant isn't up yet. But my point is the majority of them are coal. So we're gonna stop no electricity, no cars.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Like what do we do at this point to reduce it? And my mom's boss, she made a good point. He like did a Facebook post because Trump didn't jump in the Paris Climate Agreement or whatever, and China had to give $0. We're giving $4 billion or whatever to the Paris Climate Agreement, which is significantly more than any other countries. And we were agreeing to do stuff. Yeah. They weren't even agreeing to do anything, and that's another problem. Other countries aren't going to agree to do what we are. We're like, okay, well, we're going to limit this, and regulate this to stop it, and they're like, no, we're not going to stop it. We're not going to slow down our economy because you're worried about it. Yeah. And that's also a huge problem. How many countries are you think they're actually going to stop that? Yeah. And they have different problems of pollution that we do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, climate change is honestly an issue of the upper class. It's an issue of developed countries. It's not an issue because if you're worried about your kid dying, you're going to burn a fire or whatever. Yeah. Like that's your immediate threat. Yeah, it's not that the Earth's going to warm this much or ice cap's going to melt. And another thing they say is the fact that like coastal cities are going to be underwater. Well, that's a slow process. Yeah. You buy a beach house and maybe you sell it for 10% off what you buy it for 2 or 3 decades later. You know what I mean? It's not like the water rushes in and everybody's running for their life and they lose everything they have. Yeah. If you have beachfront property, maybe the sea levels rise 4 feet over 50 years and you sell your house for a reduced price. Big deal. Yeah. It's not like it's going to come in and everybody's going to be gone. And they make that point out. It's just like a fear tactic.
I thought about this actually when I was driving in Canada. And Miguel, do you remember when we watched Inconvenient Truth and Snyder? Yeah. So remember how he made like all the predictions like in 10 years, like all these. That documentary was made in 2006. And so none of those predictions came true. And all these global climate scientists held this idea. And literally none of these predictions came true. So he's making a second one. Al Gore's actually making an Inconvenient Truth 2, and he's going to make even more predictions. But all these predictions happen, and they're always wrong. And they're always like trying to change legislation and make people scared. And I'll give you my second point when you come back in.
That's pretty much for you guys.
We go just third wheel.
In like 5-10 minutes. Where can I put this?
Just set it up there. Sure. Miguel's just getting educated right now. Just sitting here listening for a while.
Honestly, I like listening. But
okay, here's a second point, right? And I was talking to Richard about this because he's getting considered conservative in Canada. But climate change is gonna open up. Okay, so first of all, say it is warming. It's gonna the high estimates are like 5 degrees over the next 100 years. You know, so it's gonna be like 1 to 2 degrees every like few years. You know, or like every like few decades. What it's gonna do is it's slowly gonna start opening up lands that we wouldn't be able to live in, like in Canada, in Siberia. Canada's land mass is bigger than the U.S., but it's all frozen. Like all the land is tundra. And Siberia, which is massive, all that's gonna start warming up, and you're gonna get more farmland, and you're gonna get more land you can live in. And so it's really
all the coastal areas that are gonna be underwater.
You just move like you said, it's a slow process, and
But I'm
people
not
are
saying
going.
that's not even a valid argument because if the water goes up 2 feet in 50 years or 100 years, it's not. It's a very slow thing, and nobody has specific numbers about it. That's a problem I have. Nobody has any specific ways that we can reduce. Okay, my mom's boss made this point. I don't know which way he went. Honestly, I don't know. But he made a Facebook post. I'm sorry about the fact that he had to go to a wedding or something, and he flew 30 people from all over across the United States on airplanes to Alaska, where they did the wedding or whatever. And he's like, on the individual level, nobody will sacrifice their life and their well-being and their good times for the overall benefit of the climate over this amount of time. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And he just pointed out the fact that, like, why do you think any big government regulations or any supranationalistic organizations are going to help benefit this? Like, how are they going to do anything? If we won't even do anything on the individual level, where change happens on the individual level, obviously, that's been proven. Okay. But if nobody will do anything on the individual level, what makes you think anything else is going to work?
Yeah.
People aren't willing. People say they're willing to do stuff. People aren't willing to do stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you drive your car twice a week? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How about every kid in school takes the bus? Nobody drives it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like,
how about you carpool to work?
Yeah, stop driving around your SUV. You know, stop driving around your SUV.
Okay. Why doesn't everybody get smart cars? Nobody's. I'm not. I'm sure so.
I know. I have 2 motorcycles sitting right there.
Yeah, exactly. Straight up about it. Okay, I point out the problems with it, and then I tell you honestly, I'm not willing to do anything about it either. Nobody is. Nobody's willing to make changes. You know what I mean?
my one opinion on the farmland things. Also, I go back to history and I think about this. Remember Thomas Malthus, who thought agriculture was growing arithmetically linearly, and then population was growing exponentially. So he's like, okay, agriculture it was going like a rhythm. Sorry, we sound retarded, but it's going linearly, and population was increasing exponentially. He's like, we're gonna see millions of people die. Yeah, but then the agricultural revolution happened, and then all of a sudden agriculture started going up exponentially, and so it caught up to population. So there wasn't widespread famine. So I think there's a strong possibility, especially seeing where technology is going, that something is gonna if anything does happen, we are going to find a way to remove gases from the atmosphere. We're gonna find a way to fix it. You know, like I don't ever take a negative.
My issue is the drastic changes that you would have to make. You would have to plunge us back into the 1800s to literally stop this problem. Okay, and that's in the United States. Yeah. What about everywhere else? Yeah. Like it's such a complicated issue that nobody has an answer because nobody's willing to even do that. Nobody's willing to.
And the people talking about it live in mansions.
And which I mean I don't know if that's a real argument or not, but I mean to me it makes sense to me. I mean you have some guy on Twitter talking about how people are greedy, this, that, and the other, and he has 4 houses that are worth $500,000 a piece, and he works for the government.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to me, that's just kind of like, do you not see the irony in his argument? Yeah. Like, he's not willing to give up anything for what he believes in and for what he puts his life out. He's been a senator for 30 plus years, and he hasn't done anything on the individual level, but he wants policy widespread to everybody else.
He wants to impose it on other people. Yeah. But he's not willing to do it to himself. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Same thing. I have issues with, congressmen. They have a different healthcare setup. Like government people, everybody in the government has some sort of. I don't know if it's just Congress, but I mean, I watched the whole thing on it. They have some different type of healthcare. setup where their Obamacare regulations don't apply to them.
Exactly.
And I have such an issue with that.
Yeah, I feel
How are you gonna tell me what I do and it doesn't even apply?
Or the bill that they were trying to strike down net neutrality. You know what net neutrality is? No. So it's saying that let's say a company wants to provide you with the internet, they have to provide equal internet access to every site, so they can't make going to their website faster and then going to Google slower, and that's called net neutrality. So each site gets the same amount of internet speed no matter what. Okay. And so their congressmen were trying to all get rid of this net neutrality bill. So companies can start like funneling that. So they're all gonna sign this bill, but then it wouldn't apply to them. And it's like, come on, you can't make a law and then be like, nope, not us.
I don't.
Yeah.
And the re-election rate of Congress is like 96 or 98%, and that to me, I have a big issue with that too. Because I mean it's gerrymandering. They redraw their districts so it went over again.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a problem with that too. Like I don't like the fact that you have the same people in Congress for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of, I don't know. Something just doesn't sit right with that.
I feel you.
And I don't know why. Because I mean it's not like that. I mean president, you serve 8 years. I mean you're a governor. How you serve 8 years when you're a governor? And it seems like the executive branch has a lot more like strict regulations, which it probably isn't a bad thing. But like, why can people in Congress sit in for 30 years? You know what I mean? You know how much corruption comes with that.
Yeah, power.
Regardless if you're the most genuine person.